Boing. Pow. Boy, I need to get a real editor. I'm making my own sound effects over here. Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. My name is Brent Gill. We got a hot one for you today. Today, we have a dope Lowrider video. On Sunday, this past Sunday, I went over to the Galpin Auto Show up in Van Nuys, California, and God, it was massive. It was so big. I mean, I've been to some big car shows, but this one was huge. This car show was freaking massive. Galpin Autosports is, of course, Galpin Ford, and they have all sorts of events up there. First time I ever heard of them, I went up for a meet with Malibu Audubon over in, I believe it was Huntington State Park. No. Will Rogers Beach over in Malibu. And by the way, love those dudes at Malibu Audubon. I've been hanging out with them for a while and not too long. But since I came out here, they were one of the first car shows I started going to on a regular basis. Love watching them grow. Love their how professional they are, how business oriented they are, how much they love cars, and how much they love people that love cars. And they're man, they go out of their way to just bring us all together. And it's just it's always been fun hanging out with them at their car shows. They always do a legendary drive after the show, which is how I first found out about Galpin Autosports. We had driven up there for like a little small one-off show that they did. And got to walk through there. Originally, when I first went there, I got to walk through. I discovered that Galpin has basically like a private reserve or an auto museum that is owned by Galpin. Mr. Ford, I don't know, but owned by the dude that owns Galpin. And sorry, boss. Ford GTs. I love this. Keep it OG. And then, of course, you have the pristine one right next to it. That one. Damn. Look at these. I love that. I love that. Oh. I've never seen this color combo with that. Looks good. That does look good. For those of you who remember this from the Monterey Car Week, this is the Saline S7. It was such a fun day. We're going to focus today, though, on the Lowrider section. I got a whole bunch of videos I'm going to put out. I have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 8 videos, 8 different videos from the show that I'm going to put out. Today we're doing Lowriders because Lowriders are so much damn fun. You know what I mean? It's such an impractical car, and people put so much money into these cars for just a show car. You know what I mean? Like the guys that are driving their Lowriders, and by Lowrider, I mean like this. That's what I mean by Lowrider. One of these things. This is so awesome to me. To me personally, I love this because these guys, especially the dudes that drive these on a daily basis, God bless you. This has got to be the most uncomfortable car. I assume you can turn off the hydraulics and everything, but man, the amount of ingenuity and the amount of time and the amount of work that these guys put into these cars, I have nothing but respect for. I would love to drive one just to see what it's like, what they handle like. I'm sure they're not very fast. One thing I noticed about lowrider cars that I always thought was very funny is that it's like these guys are picking the weirdest cars to turn into bounce like hydraulic you know what, cars, right? Like the Lincoln Town Car seems to be one of the most popular lowrider cars out there. And forgive me if I'm using the term wrong. I call these lowriders, I mean, it's like hydraulics. I know what that is. I don't know. It's like they're all picking like these old like 90s era town cars, like these Lincoln Town Cars that probably cost them $1,000, and then they put $20,000 into mods in it. Which, I get the obsession for sure. There is a handful of my friends, especially older car guys, that don't seem to get this. They don't seem to get the idea that, you know, we're not buying like a classic Corvette, right? Like I think I feel like these older car guys need to understand that to each their own. You like old Corvettes? Cool. Go get yourself a mint condition 1964 Corvette Stingray. Fine. But don't look down on the dude that spent $20,000 on his $15,000 Subaru STI to make it the car he wanted. You got the car you wanted. He got the car he wanted. He knows he spent more than double what the car cost in the motor and in the build. Of course, these dudes driving these lowriders that we're about to look at, these guys probably spent $20,000 on a car that costs $2,000-$3,000. Like, who the hell's buying an old Continental? You know what I mean? An old town car. These dudes. That's it. So I got nothing but love for these guys and what they're building there. It's fascinating to me. I get mad at people that think that these guys that you know, people that invest all of this money in a cheap car is dumb because, you know, I'm about to go buy, you know, a $7,000 Mercedes and go put money into it too. You buy the car you want. You buy the car that's the platform for what you want to build on. What are your goals? What are you trying to do? If you're trying to get a car that you can build on and that you love this car, fuck everybody else. You know what I mean? Those old dudes are the same dudes that get mad at people for modding out a Corvette, like a 1960-something Corvette. They're like, oh, why would you ruin a classic? Because they fucking wanted to. That's why. Calm down. Who cares? It's not your money. It's not your family. It's not your wife. Just enjoy what they built. Enjoy their passion with them. Quit being a cock about it. Anyway, let's get to these videos. I got a few of these here that I absolutely love. Look at that paint job. I just absolutely... Look at this. Two-tone green, lime on the bottom, green on top. Look at that town car. I literally... Like, look at this flex here. I could squat completely under this lift, like this back wheel well. Look at that flex. Also, too, I love the fact that all these guys, like, they had to cut the muffler. That was awesome. They painted the bottom of the car. Like, these lowriders are so, like, the bottom of the car is just as important as the top of the car. So look at all that, like, they painted the whole bottom, which could not have been cheap or easy, really. I don't know how the hell you paint the bottom of a car. But you can just see another town car, a newer version of another town car. These guys love town cars. Anyway, this is cut so they could put this flex in here, and then you can see right into the motor, like into the engine compartment. And they painted up the engine too. Again, the attention to detail on these cars is you have to give these guys credit for, because this stuff is awesome. And I don't know what kind of components go into this, but all that shiny like componentry cannot be cheap, because that looks like cast steel It's got to be something super strong to hold a car bouncing. So, I also love this guy's paint job. Look at this. Part of me wonders if these are all his like ex-girlfriends or his ex-baby mamas. Some of them look like clowns. My favorite part of this whole car is how this guy put a picture of his own car on his car. He put a picture of his own car on his car with his main chick, of course, but that is a love of your own cars, or a love of your own car that I just don't have. You go to the airbrush guy with a car that isn't even painted yet, and then you're like, hey, I want to get what you're about to paint on, like what this car is going to look like but doesn't look like. I want you to put that rendering on the back of the car. It's like Inception for paint on the back of a car. Let's talk about that interior real quick. Holy shit, look at that interior. How nice is this interior? This, like, you know, again, it's the attention to detail. Every bit of it, the dash, the seats, the steering wheel, every part of this car is so well put together. Even look at the freaking seat belts. The seat belts are color-coded as well. You know, again, these guys are building these cars to be show cars. That's why, like, when I see these dudes, if they are, driving these cars around as their daily driver, magnificent. That's how a car should be. I hate seeing cars that are, you know, tons of money and they're never driven, right? Like these Koenigsegg's and these Paganis and these supercars and these, you know, drive them. You spent $3 million on the thing. Fucking drive it. What is your deal? Right? I mean, I understand you spent $3 million on the thing and you don't want to have to make that insurance claim, but I just don't understand. If you have so much money that you're able to buy a car that costs $2-3 million, some people won't even make that in their lifetime, and you can spend that on a fifth car, and then you're not going to drive that car? What are you doing with it? Why don't you just put your money in a fucking bank or something, or an ETF or a broad market? Like, do something better with it than that. Now, as I said all of that, these guys are probably thinking that I'm going to put my money into this car now, and then they won't be making these cars, or this model won't be there, or they only made X amount of these, so the price of the car will go up. Sure, I guess I hear that. Weird investment, though. You know what I mean? To me, it's just weird to have something that fun and that powerful and not drive it. That's why when I was at Monterey Car Week, I saw that Koenigsegg that was actually, like, you could tell on the tires, this car is driven. And man, good. Thank God. Don't just have this car and not drive it. It just has never made sense to me, you know, ever. Have a nice car and drive it. You don't have to drive it every day. It doesn't have to be your daily. But don't just let it sit in a garage. That just seems dumb. Let's move on. I think this is another town car. This might have been, what is this? Oh, this is an Impala. That's right. I remember this one. This is the, Chevy Impala. This thing is also super clean. Look at the front of this car. Like, how, like, again, it's the vision that they had and executed. Right? That's awesome to me. The fact that, like, there's gold around the headlights, but the rest of the grille is chrome. It's just these little small touches that just make it undeniably great. You know what I mean? Wait till you see the paint job on the top of this Impala here. This thing is real nice. It's crazy to me that they can have that much tilt on the wheel and it doesn't just break off. You know what I mean? Like, these things are tilted on, like, almost at a 45-degree angle with the entire weight of the car on it, and it's just fine. It's just such a well put together car. You know what I mean? Look how clean that interior is. Like, you literally have to go get that, like, redone. No one has a frickin' 70s era Impala with that clean of an interior. So you got to go to an upholstery place. Be like, I want you to make this look stock. You got to make this look stock with like cloth and tweed and shit, that whatever the fuck materials they put in these cars in the 70s. Man. And then I love that this guy just drops it when he gets in. Plop, pop, 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 pop. Time to get in. I can only imagine it's pretty hard to get in the car when it boink when it's tilted up like that. I also do love this. I will say this. You see how high these cars are riding right now? What a fun way to drive around town. Like, when you need to go low, you can go low. But when you want to go high, you have the height of an SUV if you want. You can see all around. I would love to be in traffic, just sitting like what's causing this delay? Ta-tink, 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 ta-tink. Oh, okay, there's an idiot up there. I would love it. I really would. I also wonder, too, I don't know anything about these cars, as I've mentioned. I wonder how... I mean, like, this suspension kit has got to be super durable. I can only imagine it is. It has to not only hold the weight of the car, but it also has to hold the force of the car coming back down on it, right? I wonder if these suspensions are strong enough to, like, not so much take off road, but, like, in the same vein of what I was saying, like, you're in traffic and you're like, fuck this, and you want to do something else. Could you just bounce it up high to the highest ride height and then go drive over a curb or some shit, or go drive down a ravine? Like, because if this suspension is strong enough to support the weight of a vehicle falling on it, I would think it's strong enough to go rally over a curb in Los Angeles. I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe. It's probably on this side. Please subscribe to my channel down there. Also, there's a link to my Patreon in there. If you like what I'm doing and you also would like these videos to get better, I would love to hire an editor or someone that can help me pop these videos out a little bit faster and a little bit better quality. So please consider contributing to my Patreon. The first 100 people are locked in at the OG rate. So the first 100 people are locked in at $5 at the $5 level, and that will never change. I'm going to add more tiers later on, but you will have the highest tier available forever and ever, as long as you don't leave that OG tier. We only allow 100 of them, so please make sure you fill out that or subscribe to that if you like what I'm doing. And thanks again to Galpin Autosports for putting out this show, organizing it. It was their 7th year, and it was a massive year, and I really look forward to going back next time. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Next show. It's not next week, but we'll be here. I'm here tomorrow, too. So check out information. Check me out on Instagram, me as my comedian self, at I am Brent Gill, and we'll see you all next time. Goodbye. Click.